Welcome back, everyone. Today we will explore Chapter 3 of your Hartman textbook, which is Block 6 on Moodle, and it's all about basic human needs. We are going to start off with a case study. Mr. Simons is an 80-year-old resident at the long-term care facility you work at. Mr. Simons has arthritis, meaning he has inflammation and pain in his joints. This makes it difficult for Mr. Simons to move around, and he has constant pain. Now, I want you to think about how it would make you feel if your body hurt all the time. Maybe yours does. My lower back hurts all the time, but that's another story. Another fact about Mr. Simons is that his children do not live close by. Instead, they live out of state in Louisiana and can only visit about once every year. I want you to think about how you would feel if your family lived far away and rarely came to visit. Maybe you do already live out of state and far away, and you know how this feels. When you greet Mr. Simons at the beginning of every shift, he does not have anything good to say. He complains about being woken up several times in the middle of the night or how bad the food tastes. He constantly complains and rarely says anything positive. You often dread going into his room because you know how he is going to act. He often spends time alone in his room and is labeled by the other staff and residents as grumpy. Now, you as the CNA, I want you to think about this. Why is Mr. Simons acting this way? Would you be grumpy if you were in constant pain and you never saw your family? Why do you think that would affect him so much? And what could you do about it? We will come back to Mr. Simons in a minute. One objective you need to be able to do as a CNA, not only to prepare for the state exams, but also to have compassion and sympathy for your residents, is to identify some basic human needs. Your textbook describes some basic human needs. No matter what physical, cultural, social differences exist, all human beings need the same things to survive. I want you to take a few seconds and think about what things you need to survive every day, physically, mentally, emotionally. Hartman divides these needs into two categories. First, you have physiological or physical needs. What does your body physically need to live and survive? Think about it, basically food and water. Next, you have psychosocial needs. What exactly does psychosocial mean? Ask yourself, what do your mind and your psyche need to survive? Think about your social interactions, your emotions, your intellect, and your spirituality. All these things help you function and stay sane. Going back to the first category, let's list some specific physical needs. Well, you need food and water, shelter, and protection. Your body needs to move and be active, and who doesn't need a little more sleep and rest during the day? One last physical need is comfort, especially freedom from pain. When you look at psychosocial, the big key to remembering what psychosocial needs are is looking at the social aspect of the term psychosocial. Specifics include feeling love and affection, acceptance by others, feeling safe and secure, being self-reliant and independent in your daily living, having contact with others, and feeling successful and having high self-esteem. Think to yourself, what specific social interactions do you need to survive on a daily basis? Huge one for the younger generations is social media. How much time throughout the day do you go without looking at your phone and engaging in some form of social media or interaction? I want you to keep that in your mind as we move forward. So, a CNA also needs to be able to identify Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's theory categorizes human needs in order of importance. He describes how physiological or the physical needs must be met before psychosocial needs can be met. In his diagram, he has a pyramid. At the base are the physical needs, such as oxygen, water, food, elimination needs, and rest. These basic physical needs must be met before you move up the pyramid. The next level up is safety and security. This includes shelter, clothing, protection from harm, and a feeling of stability. A person needs to feel safe before they can feel loved and accepted. A person needs to feel accepted before they can achieve self-esteem and self-actualization, which are the top two levels of the pyramid. These top two levels involve achievement, self-worth, value, creativity, and realization of one's own potential. And I know I spelled esteem wrong, so don't pay attention to that. Let's look at an example of Maslow's. For instance, if you didn't get enough sleep because you were up all night studying for a chemistry exam, how are you going to feel the next day when your partner, friend, or child is having a bad day? Are you going to be emotionally prepared to deal with the stress to comfort and support them? In my case, absolutely not. You will be tired. I will be tired and might not be able to emotionally handle it as well. Your basic physical need for rest and sleep is not met, and you can't emotionally be present to deal with these other problems. Going back to Mr. Simons, why is he acting this way? I want you to reframe your thinking and ask yourself what needs are not being met that led him to act this way. If you can identify those needs, then maybe you can actually do something about it. Remember, Mr. Simons has arthritis, which causes constant pain and discomfort. Being free from pain and having comfort are basic physical needs. He is acting out because his physical needs are not being met. And also remember, his children live far away and don't visit often. He is not feeling loved and accepted, which inhibits his ability to act civilly with staff and other residents. Instead of labeling him as grumpy or difficult, consider what you can do within your scope of practice to address any of these needs. Now, your assignment. What I want you to do is list and describe 3 ways you, as the CNA, can help relieve Mr. Simon's pain. You may need to look at Chapter 7 to find specifics. Your first thought might be, give him some pain medication. Come on. Remember, giving pain medication is not within your scope of practice. You can definitely report that to the nurse, but there are things you can do as a CNA to help relieve pain and increase comfort. Now, how can you help him feel the need for love and acceptance? I want you to list and describe 3 ways you can help Mr. Simons feel accepted. Think about activities that are offered at your facility or ways you can increase social interaction with other residents. Now, this is the end of this presentation. Thanks for participating today, and I will see you in the next segment.